Hey, can you guys see me? All right, let's get started here. All right, I'm Brian from Arrowhead Garage. We have Mike from Lake and Lodge Garage and Louie from First Generation Garage tonight on the show. Make sure you, in the comments, let us know who you are, where you're calling from, or where you're watching us from. And if you have questions, shoot them out to us. Let's start off with Louie. What you been doing this week?
This week I'm gonna continue working on Lady Bird here, the 1968 that I'm straightening it out for one of my YouTube followers. I'm doing pretty good. You know, the floor definitely don't look like the mess that it looked like when it first came here. You know, and I just finished fixing the windshield post. It's funny, me and Jonathan was talking about it yesterday. The convertibles, it happens to be on the driver's side. For some reason, those posts get rotted on the left-hand side corner, the top corner. You know, for some reason, I don't know why, but his experience with 269s convertibles that he did and my experience with this 68, Dan's got a Lovebird. I think that was the only solid corner on that car.
Windshield frame was the only thing I had that was good.
Yeah, me too, on the Lovebird.
Aye. Looks like Jim and Kelly are here. And
all right.
Bill O'Brien's here from St. Louis.
Nice.
We got a few people in. Mike, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, this week, not much this week. I'm actually getting ready to start putting the convertible top frame in. Just tore it out of the box tonight. Looked it over, kind of see what I've got, what I'm missing. I think I'm going to break that down and get that painted. Right now it's just EDP coat. So I want to get that down and at least get some chassis black on it or something that's going to be a little more durable. But I'm going to start the process of getting that mounted, getting the frame installed, trying to figure out what I don't have yet. So I'm sure there'll be a couple more orders in place before the end of the weekend. But that's my plan.
Oh, looks like Lisa from Texas is with us, and Chucky from Staten, New York.
All right.
Go Yankees. Well, for me, as you can see behind me, I taped up all the glass on the Firebird. Hopefully tomorrow we can lay down some primer, get all this barrel covered up and stop the rust, which in Arizona, we don't know what rust is because it never freaking rains here. And so, you know, it is what it is. But, all right. So what else we got going on tonight, guys? Louis,
I'm gonna be pulling a Pontiac 350 that came originally with a 69 Firebird that I plan to build in the future as a 69 Trans Am clone. And the reason I'm gonna be pulling that engine out of the corner there in the garage is because we don't know yet when, but Mike from Lake and Lodge is supposed to be coming here to Pennsylvania to play cars with me and extract a bolt that broke, my first bolt that ever broke, and God knows how many Pontiac engines I've been in. And so I'm trying to steal parts off of that engine, the timing cover, see if it's any good. I need a timing cover. And a couple of other things. The pan is original. I want an original oil pan because that one is actually dented. And I think I'm going to pull the engine back out on the Lovebird. There's a couple of, I know it's a good engine. You know, I turned it on. I drove the car around here a little bit. And that's the good thing. You know, I know I'm dealing with a good engine. So it's worth putting time into it and money.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. And for you guys out there in the hobby world, if it's your first time around, you're going to get hiccups like this. Do not get upset. It's part of the game. If you're not willing to accept these hiccups, look for another hobby. Go play chess.
Right.
Pick up dominoes. Yeah, it seems like you're always fighting something. You're assembling something and get 3/4 of the way through it, and you're like, oh, I don't have the right fasteners,
Oh,
or
yeah.
oh, why doesn't this line up?
That's right. And let me tell you, I don't know if it happened to you guys, but I know it happens to me and Jonathan because we think about it a lot. Even when I'm going to sleep, I think about the problem. Sometimes
Oh,
I figure it out in my sleep.
I keep a list of what I'm doing on the car on my phone, and it's a little app I use called AnyList. And literally, I'll wake up in the middle of the night, start thinking about stuff, and I'll be like, "Oh crap! I got to remember to put, strip caulk under this piece of chrome," and I'll put it on the list.
There
If I
you go.
don't, I'm junk. I mean, it won't happen.
Yeah, but it's amazing. You really need to be that thorough. And the reason I say that is because look at your build, Mike. I think it came out excellent. And as of now, it shows the passion, the respect you have for the car because you did yourself out on that car. Explain to me, because I always wanted to ask you this question: is this the first time you restore a car nut and bolt?
Yeah, I was telling Brian earlier when I was young, I was 14 years old. My uncle gave me a '56 Chevy two-door wagon, a 210, and I restored that, as a high school kid, right? So I got it on the road, got it running. It was okay for what I had, but I had no money. I had to, whatever I could cob together, I did. So that was my only real experience doing that. But that was many, many moons ago. But this is my first full blown resto mod, restoration / build.
Nice. What inspired you to get a Firebird and not anything else?
Well, I knew what really did it was I was watching your channel and both you guys and Jonathan and Mr. Fireman, Roger.
Okay. Yep, he's
and,
excellent.
He's a really good resource. And I really decided that I wanted to get into it because, A, these F bodies are cool, and B, you can buy every single piece for it. So I knew I wouldn't be in a situation where I couldn't find a quarter panel. I was trying to scrounge up a fender. If worse, I could buy it.
Right.
And I really wanted to build something pro touring with a modern suspension and a modern engine. And, so I just started looking, and I found this car down in Connecticut. I grabbed my son. We grabbed my father's enclosed trailer, and off we went.
Wow.
So,
the funny thing is that with these F bodies like Firebird, just like Camaro, when it comes to a convertible, it's amazing. You don't find out until you really get into the build that as much as we think there's 100% of everything out there for them, there ain't.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, now on a coupe, yes. On a coupe, I mean, 90-something% of the car you could order on a magazine, or online.
This is the perfect example of that.
Yeah,
this is the little chrome trim that holds the weather stripping behind the vent window. They don't make these anymore.
There you go.
I didn't have them in the basket of parts that came with my car, so I ended up having to buy these from somebody that actually happened to have them, and he knew what he had. So needless to say, I paid dearly, but I got them. You come this far, you got to do it.
It's true.
Hey, Mike, what motor do you have in that? What engine?
It's an LS3. It's a 6.2 liter LS3. It's 544 horsepower.
Wow.
I didn't build it. This is the first engine I've ever actually used that I didn't build myself, but I was kind of into it deep with the car and figured I'll just buy it. And I've got a T56 Tremec transmission in it, 6-speed manual, and Ford 9-inch rear end.
Wow.
So
what was that? What was that rear end?
It's got a Ford 9-inch.
Ford. I thought I heard Ford.
Yeah, I will tell you this though, for you guys that are out there looking to do something like this, if I had to do it over again, I would buy a Corvette C4 front and rear suspension. Now, I've got one in the trailer outside. I'm going to put under a 55 Chevy pickup I have in the trailer.
Nice.
But you can buy a front and rear independent suspension, rear end, the whole number for a C4 Corvette for like $1,500.
Whoa, that's a bargain.
I couldn't put the rear end gears in this thing. The pumpkin in this cost more than $1,500, right?
Wow.
And it is a nice suspension. I've designed a frame for it. That'll be my next build. I'm gonna build a Resto Mod 55 Chevy pickup.
That's cool.
A budget build.
Chucky says, this is Director Brian. I'm doing my sail panels, deck filler panel, and roof drip rails on my 67 Camaro. After I saw your video on this work on your Firebird, thanks for your help. Absolutely. That's, as you can see, it's a pain in the ass. I'll tell you that one. But Jonathan made it look like butter. Jonathan did it.
It's a labor of love, Brian.
Yep. He's a labor of love.
Comes back. And then Jeff G says hello to everyone. Jeff G, where are you from and what are you driving? I'll wait for the response. So Louis,
Yes,
Louis
sir.
and I this week talking about I need a new center console. So the console that came with my car was a 68 or 69 console. And it worked with the shifter that Louis sent me many moons ago. But then Louis sent me a 67 shifter, which is smaller, and then the console doesn't fit. And so I've been searching for consoles, and Louis sent me a few. I found a few. And I think the one that works for me is like in California.
Okay.
And I'm not being political. I'm just, but I thought maybe there'd be a fire sale and I could get it for cheap.
Oh man.
And
Well,
the reason
it
I
is
say
for
that
Firebird.
right. So yeah. And so today, I'm a Porsche guy as well. Usually a Porsche guy. On the Porsche side, all the talk today on all the forums has about how all these classic rare Porsches are burning up in California, and it's going to drive prices up for those of us who don't live in California that have old Porsches.
Yep.
It got me thinking, like, okay, so for Pontiac guys, you may have a numbers matching original, unrestored, pristine Firebird, and it gets consumed in this crazy ass fire. And I mean, like, it's gone. You can't replace that.
Nope.
You know, so I'm saddened for those people in California that are losing their vehicles.
It is sad.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, no politics. Just it is what it is, and it sucks.
It does. It does. It's a terrible situation, and you know, even beyond cars, the lives that are just upended over this is heartbreaking. It really is.
Yep.
It's a pain in the ass. But on that note, so there's a guy in California that has a center console that has it's complete, like the ashtray, the door, the little center console where that goes on the shifter, like 350. I'm thinking, okay.
I think the most sexiest console from 67 to 69 is 67. Not because it's my favorite year, but I tell you what, it has the ashtray, okay, which now that's a delete for the new cars. So it's automatic, like an old school touch right there. And it also has the the courtesy light. So you make sure you wire that up the right way. When you open up your door, that courtesy light in the rear of that console is supposed to turn on.
Wait, there's a light in that console?
Yeah, on the rear, on the very rear. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, and if you have the extra cash, you know, you can't take it with you, Brian. When was the last time you seen a U-Haul truck follow a hearse? Never. Okay, that's the way I think. All right, that's why I have so many birds. I want to have my phone when I'm here. My feet are still above ground, not underground. Buy yourself the console clock. That's the next thing you need to look for. My Firebird, my 67 has the console with the light working, the shifter working, and a clock.
So can I buy the clock separately?
Yeah, but original. You have to get original because the housing comes original. That's it. Then there's no aftermarket housing. Now the mechanics of it, they sell new ones, you know.
So if anyone's listening and you have a clock from a 67, hit me up because I want to buy it apparently.
Yeah, like I always say, I'm such a hoarder for these Pontiacs. I actually have an original 68 console clock, which is going to go into a Lovebird for the missus. And there is a difference. So the housing looks the same and everything looks the same, but 67, the numbers look greenish. And for 68, it was white.
I want
A lot of people don't know that, but I do.
Uh-oh, Louis, you broke up on us. One more time, Louis.
Yeah, so the clock on 67 and 68, even though they appear to be the same, they're not.
They're not. Okay.
Yeah.
No, they almost look identical. I mean, almost, but they not. And believe it or not, in 68, the bracket to mount the clock and the base, there's a base, it's a special base and a special mounting bracket. I mean, it could cost you an arm and a leg if you have an original one. And if you know what you have, maybe I just made it terrible for everybody out there, but but yeah, I was blessed to have two. All right, that one Jonathan gave me was one of the first things Jonathan gave me. We didn't even know each other, you know, just by calling each other. Later on, we met each other in person, but one I had in my collection already. And then while I was building the Lovebird in the very beginning, I found one in Ohio with the original mounting bolts. So I have everything. Because the Lovebird, it was an original console clock car, you know?
Really?
Yeah, I have the PHS of that car. Power top, power brake car, console car, automatic. It was a nice car.
I want to make a shout out to Scott. He's got to go, but he's enjoying the show, what he did. So, Scott, thank you for watching. Appreciate you on our chat sessions. All
Do
right,
you have
so
any
I'm gonna
questions out there, Brian?
So far, no questions. If anyone has questions, hit them up. Let's find out what we can find out. I'm gonna get a
all right.
refresh.
I want Mike to go through his chassis because it's the first time I've seen a bird with a full chassis. I want to understand the madness of all that.
Mike, can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that. Why don't you guys cover something else real quick? I'll lift this thing up, get set up to show it, and we'll go with that.
Okay.
All right. Cover something else for a few minutes. Give me a sec.
Mike is a lucky bastard because he has a lift.
Yeah. When I grow up, I want to be just like him. Hopefully I will get one soon.
None of that. So, Louis, console I want is in California, and I'm tempted to drive out there and buy it. It's a 6-hour drive, but I'm willing to drive because it's the most complete one I've seen so far.
Okay. Is he selling it with the shifter?
No shifter, just the console.
Just the console. Okay. I seen a couple of them popping up around here.
Now, I've had some that come up for 700, 500.
Yeah.
Local to me. I don't want to pay that. And this guy has one for 300.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So I'm going to try to do this. It might be a little awkward, so bear with me. Hopefully this will show okay. So what I did was I bought a Heights front snout. You can do this with a regular Camaro snout. Is this angle okay, guys? Is it?
Yeah, it looked good. I can see everything.
Okay. So this is a Heights front snout. Their whole setup with the coilovers and whatnot. And what I did was I built my own rear frame section and tied it in here, as you can see. So the Heights frame comes down like this, and I built the rails out in the rear and their back. And what I did was I made some nice, oh, this is going to be hard to see. I made some nice frame rails that pretty much mimicked where the original unibody frame rails were.
Okay.
And I bent I cut them with a plasma, notched them, welded it, got them in here, and actually put it together in the car. So that I literally, and you can see this in my videos, but I had this all tacked up and together in here, tacked it to the front end, and then lifted the body right off it.
Nice.
So welded all up.
Nice.
And then kind of continued on through the rear. There's that Ford-ish rear end that Brian loves. And then the coilovers. And of course, we did the exhaust and everything to boot while it was all, before I had a body on it. So yeah, that's how I did it. It wasn't, there's, I actually, here's the whole story. I had ordered a complete chassis from one of the frame shops that you hear about. And I waited a year. And while I was waiting, I just worked on the body, got the unibody going, did all of that. Well, a year comes around and they're like, oh yeah, it's going to be ready. It's going to be ready. Literally, I was, making my arrangements to go down and pick this thing up, and it's not ready.
Oh boy.
Great. So then they screwed around with me for like another 6 weeks, telling me, another month. So finally, I canceled the order and built my own. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So got impatient. But
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I think what I got fits me better than what I would have gotten had I bought it.
Right.
And quite honestly, it was a third of the price.
Okay.
So all said and done, buying the steel, welding it up myself, it's nothing I hadn't done before with race cars. So I'm like, screw it, just do it.
Nice. So Mike, I have a question.
Yep.
Number one is, how many body bushings do your Firebird have?
Well, I have the 4 in the front.
Okay.
And then I actually, let me show you, because that's an excellent point. So I have the 4 stock positions up front. You got the one back here, and you can see with the Heights frame, it's right there. Hopefully you guys tell me if I need to come up or down or something.
I could see that.
Okay. And then the regular ones up front, that was all fine. What I did, however, was I put an additional one right here over the torque box.
Okay.
And that one picks up the rear of the car. And then I used the shackle bolt in the rear to tie my frame into. Okay. So technically I have 8. So I used that shackle bolt in the rear as another body mount.
Cool. And my next question is, for us that have dived deep into these cars, we know that the rear end of the car is welded to the frame rails at the rear.
Right.
So how do you marry that the complete floor from the trunk to the main floor? How do you welded that up and kept it solid? You got with no flexing, especially being a convertible, to be able to take it off the chassis and also place it back on the chassis, back and forth. You probably did that a couple of times.
Oh yeah, I literally had it down so I can lift the body off that chassis in about 15 minutes. But to answer your question is, I removed the unibody frame rails from about 6 inches ahead of that shackle mount forward. So those came right out. And while I was doing it though, I had the body on a jig. So I was able to, with my rotisserie and whatnot, I didn't have any flex on it. So I wasn't too worried about that. And ultimately, the way it all worked out, it was pretty slick, because when you're lowering the body onto this frame now, you just kind of tilt the body down in the back a couple inches and pick up those rear shackle bolts first.
Okay.
and then use those as a pivot, and the whole thing kind of goes down on the rest of them. Very slick.
All right. Okay, cool. Really cool.
But yeah, I had to remove those frame rails to make, and of course it's mini tub too, so I had to remove those frame rails to make room for my own rails.
Right, because I saw the size of tires you got there in the rear.
Yeah. Those make me smile.
Monster. Yeah, there you go. That what counts. Every penny is worth it.
There goes my carbon footprint.
You know, back in my 20s, if the rear end was bigger than that, I didn't pick it up. Just saying.
I tell you
Just
what,
saying.
having a full chassis unibody car, this one being a Firebird, you know, Camaro was the same thing. A lot of cars, not just F bodies. Even the Toyotas of nowadays, believe it or not, they unibody, okay?
Right.
But the nice thing of having a full chassis is you don't have to be scared to slide a jack underneath, a floor jack.
Yep. That's right.
You know?
And honestly, even like putting it on the lift, it doesn't splay out like a normal convertible would. So it you know, the door is closed just fine when it's on or off the lift.
Nice.
It you know, it does splay a little bit, maybe about it's certainly less than 1/8 of an inch, but I know with a regular unibody, it's more than that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That roof is very much a structural member.
Ooh, yeah, and to actually restore a convertible versus a coupe. I mean, a coupe is like a walk in the park to me.
Yeah.
Compared to a convertible, oh my God, there's so many things you got to think about.
Yeah.
To keep that body straight, you know, before you weld anything, and it ends up being a flex to it or crooked, whatever.
Yep. And when I started out, literally, I kept stripping this thing down until I got to something solid. I had 2 rocker panels and a windshield frame. That was it.
I saw that.
And,
I tell you one, the Lovebird, nothing was welded on the rockers. That car was just floating. Nothing. It wasn't welded at all.
So when I ultimately started taking it apart, I was so paranoid about stuff drifting. I put a mini roll cage in this thing and stabilized the entire body. And at times it was too stable because, like Louis likes to point out, when you put the new floors in and stuff, I wish, you know, had it to do it again, I would set it up so that I could, you know, keep everything straight and square, but at least pull the rocker panels in a little bit. And I ended up having to separate some of my tubing so that I could do that to get the floor where it really needed to be.
There you go.
So there's little tricks to it, but you know, I spent a lot of time watching Juby's channel, Amazing Metal, and that guy knows how to build an F body.
Oh yeah,
from scratch. He is amazing. No pun intended.
So,
but
great guys. Jim and Kelly say, Lewis, can you get a picture of that 67 console when you get a chance? We are going to do an automatic console shifter. So
yeah, no problem. I tell you what, I probably will show it on my next video because a lot of people get the 68 mixed with the 69, and then there's not so many 67 out there, and that's why I was really happy. I got excited when I saw Mike building the convertible 67, because people that really know me in a personal level, they know that 67 means a lot to me because it was my first car. I was 22 years old when I bought the car. I learned mechanic, I learned wiring, I learned welding, I learned everything on that car. So I mean, I could get rid of every bird I own, but the 67 is my coffin.
Louis, that console I gave you, was that a 67 or a 68?
68, and it could also fit a 69, but it's a 68. Yep.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
On that note, I have a 68 or 69 console. If anyone needs it, hit me up and I'll send it off to you. In addition, Kevin Nord says he's restoring a 64 Tempest, which was his grandma's, who bought it new, and he's enjoyed our videos and has found them very helpful. So, Kevin,
that's a
thank
cool
you for,
car.
Very cool.
Those are
I would
awesome.
like to get like a early 60s Tempest convertible. I don't know why, but somehow it's a draw for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. I had a chance. I tried to buy a 67 GTO convertible one time, and the guy didn't want to sell it. Then a month later, he sold it for less than I had offered him. I was devastated. But
Wow.
that was with the A bodies, same thing. You can buy everything, so it just makes rebuilding them so much easier.
You know what I like? I like the Bonneville's 1960 bubble top.
Yep. I have a friend who has one of those.
Beautiful car. Oh my God. It's a boat. It's huge.
Oh yeah, they're massive. My buddy's is a convertible. It's not the bubble top. It's the convertible version. It's a gorgeous car.
Also, guys, Jeff G says, what is the drop in tire size on Mike 67?
Okay, so this is a struggle. All right. This has mini tubs, so you got to keep that in mind. So the rears are 315s, 315 by 18-inch tires. No, excuse me, I went with 17s. Trying to find rims that have the right offsets and the right sizes and tires that go with it was I had months into this, months and months and months, and just every night trying to find a combination that would work for me, and it was a pain. And I ended up buying one of those wheel gauge rigs, and you can see it on my site, on my YouTube channel. But there's this little tool that you can mock up a tire with, set it up in there, and kind of see how it fits. And with that, you can kind of take some measurements and figure out what you really got to do.
Yep.
But it was quite a challenge, and I think I got 245s on the front, 245 17s, 315 17s on the rear. Those are Mickey Thompsons. I just thought the brand was cool. It's old school Mickey Thompson.
Old school, yep.
My dad was having a fit about it. Those are gonna be soft. But no, I love them. And then I went with the. Those are just Jegs rims, very inexpensive, and I put my own sticker in the cat because I didn't really feel I should be advertising for Jegs.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the deal. If you want the exact sizes, I don't have them right off the tip of my head, but you can go on my site and take a look. There was a whole episode on trying to figure this whole mess out. So, but it came out really good. I'm super happy with the fit.
Oh, W Wilder 9 just joined us. Jim and Kelly say, Brian, how long did it take you to strip the car bare? So on my 67, using the heart rate 4-inch surfacer, I went through 5 drums, which if I would have bought the right ones, probably 2 drums, 3 drums. But I would say a day, like 8 hours, guys. So if that answers your questions, hopefully, I would say about 8 hours of just stripping her down.
It's a long, messy day too. And it's a little easier if you're not stripping paint. If you're just doing EDP like I did, that goes a little faster, but it just takes, it's a lot of detail too. It's not just the big surfaces like Brian video last week. You got to get into every little nook and cranny and get that all out of there.
And what was heartbreaking for me is Bondo, and the Bondo was more than an eighth of an inch. It was like quarter inch, wow. I was like, man, that was heartbreaking. But we'll get through that.
But I will say that little Bauer stripper that saves. If you were doing that with a DA, it would have been 3 or 4 days.
Oh, easy.
My 67 Porsche, I used just a 4-inch, 5-inch, whatever it was, orbital whatever sander, and I did that. And it probably took probably 3 weeks of just a couple hours a day, just coming out of the garage. And that's why when that big thing for freight came in, and done. And I even sent that off to Lisa, who has a 76 Firebird in Texas. She was trying to strip hers. I'm like, I'm done with it. So off it went to her.
Oh, nice.
Nice, yeah. And you were right on that. It's important to point out that you can buy some of the the drums from the Jungle website, but they're garbage. They're literally it's just throwing stuff everywhere, and you quickly realize that debris flying around the room is not the paint, it's the roller. The Harbor Freight ones are worth the money.
When Jonathan came to visit me the first time, 4 years already, it's gonna be this year. I bought him on his birthday because he has this thing. He visits me my birthday, so I treat him like a little kid and I buy him a toy. so I say, "Come on, buddy, let's go shopping for your gift." And he's like, "Oh boy, not this again." So we go to Harbor's Freight because listen. Let me tell you something. When it comes to this hobby, whenever you could save money, and I always say it on my videos, when you could save money, don't get so caught up on the big names. I hate when people get caught up on it doesn't. You know what? If it works and it costs the money, okay, I understand. But you'd be surprised how many things don't cost so much money and it works. So I bought Jonathan the stripper that Brian used, with a drum for Jonathan. And I had the Eastwood here at home. That's when I was building my white car and it still had the original Vandero green. That's the car I picked up from the junkyard. And he made a video in my garage, and you couldn't tell the difference. You couldn't tell if he was using the Eastwood or the Harbor's Freight. And this guy, he lost the footage. I mean, he was really upset about it. Oh my, I was upset about it because, man, it was so cool. But I'll be honest with you, you cannot tell the difference, okay? And Eastwood at that time, the barrel cost like 50 something bucks, and the Harbor's Freight, I think, was like $30.
Yeah,
you couldn't tell a difference. You could not tell a difference.
It's funny how Harbor Freight has really upped their game, huh?
Oh yeah, it's true.
When we were kids, oh my God, it was a joke. It was Hobo Freight. It was whatever trash you wanted to buy, you could buy it there. But now I thank God every day they're close to me. I mean,
me too.
When I was doing the body on this, I would go in there and clean them out of every body clamp they had just about once a week.
And I remember Harbor Freight used to get a catalog, and you had to order it, and it came in the mail.
Yeah. Right.
That's how.
Yeah.
So let's get caught up. Let's see. Squadron says I have an 67 F3 100 4-speed manual car, and Wilder 9 says use aircraft stripper. I use aircraft stripper on my 67 Porsche. It did really great. When I bought that same aircraft stripper 3 months ago and used it on this car, it sucked ass.
There you go, because they took all the good stuff out. That's why.
I blame California.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Not to be political.
We're not being political. We're just being honest.
Yeah, you know what's so crazy? Some body filler now, they won't ship it to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand this.
It's also funny. I find that you think about how things were when Brian and I were young, right? And body work back then was you sand it down to bare metal, you lay on some lacquer primer, scuff it, and lay down the base coat. That was it.
And it lasted.
And it lasted.
Yep.
And now we got 15 different chemistries and
yeah. I said that in last week live.
Yeah.
I said that back in the day it was primer on bare metal and that's it,
That's it. The old red lacquer
oxidized.
Yep, the oxidized primer. Yep.
Yep.
It was good stuff too.
And let me tell you something. You didn't see the paint flaking off like you do on the new cars nowadays.
That's right. I will say that this newer paint is, I find it's a little easier to paint. It really is. It goes on better and it doesn't want to run on you all the time like the old stuff did. You used to have to be so careful. But now it's like, and even now, as long as you're doing clear coat, lay it on there. You can wet sand anything out.
It's so true. It's so true. It's so true.
So Lisa says, thanks, Brian. I can't wait to strip mine down. Jeff G says, Mike, your Hydus front end is impressive. The wheel center line to the fender looks perfect. Jim Kelly said Harbor Freight is a must. And Wilder E says Eastwood is proud of their stuff. So just getting caught up on our chat there.
I can't say that I've ever been disappointed in anything I bought from Eastwood, except for that fender roller thing. That was garbage. But when I need something that I really want to last or something unique, I will buy Eastwood. I will. I got a lot of their stuff around here, but I was just talking about this little hobbyist powder coating kit. It was on sale at Christmas for $180, so Santa bought it for me, and I love it. I think this is the coolest toy I've had for a long time.
Yeah, I tell you what, for the guys and girls out there that want to start welding, I strongly suggest to pick up a Eastwood welder, because if you stick to something that doesn't cost too much, like the welder I have, I think I bought it like 4 years ago, something like that already on Christmas, and I think it was like $300 or $250. It was either or $250 or $300, and I have built about 3 cars, I think, with it already. And it's a 110. It's not 220. It's a 110, yeah. And it's done great. A lot of you guys that follow me, I do flux core welding. Yes. Do I use gas? 100%. I have.
Yeah. I
think anybody could weld if you're using gas. That's how easy I find it, But I master flux core welding. Jonathan could tell you, this guy, he always like, wow, this guy, it's unbelievable what he could do. But it was my first welder, Harbor Freight, and I still have it with me. I don't want to give it away or throw it away, because it brings me memories from when I started.
I have a 1992 Century welder in here, my MIG welder that I bought from Sam's Club back in '92, and
wow.
The thing won't die.
You see that? Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Don't sleep on the Harbor Freight welders either.
No.
The nice thing about the Harbor Freight welders is the consumables are cheap and they're right here.
Yep.
And I've got the Vulcan TIG from Harbor Freight. I love it.
Oh yeah. The only thing I do different is I use Yes Welder, the wire.
Yep.
I like Yes Welder.
Where's that from?
Yes Welder, you could get it online. I really don't know exactly where it's from, but I just go online and I get a 10-pound spool. It's almost $60 now, a 10-pound spool. When I first bought my first 10-pounder, it was like $30.
Yep. That's like everything. Crazy.
But it lasts a long time. I'm telling you, 10 pounds. I did my white car from beginning to end. I did the Lovebird to where she is now. And if you guys know, I did a lot of metal work to that car. And I was able to weld some of the convertible I'm fixing now, and I just ran out. So it goes a long way.
Yep. So KJ Next Garage, which is Jim and Kelly, they asked Brian, are you going to paint a car in your garage? And the answer to that is yes, I am. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a Harbor Freight gun to do all the primer on my car. And then I picked up this, which is a low volume for my compressor to paint my color and my clear. So yeah, guys, I'm going to use this and I'm going to paint it all in here, and you guys can see it in the next couple months. My plan is to have my bird done and driving to Firebird Fest 25 in May of this year. So
we should all meet there.
I know, you're right, Mike. We all should be there.
You should go. Brian, what are you going to use for primers and chemistries?
So my primer is one that Louis recommended, which is that U-Pol 5523 or something.
Yep.
And then, so here's what I come to. I've had a bunch of companies reach out to me because of YouTube and want to supply me paint. There are a lot of Chinese companies. and I'm just, it's not a political thing. It's just a, like, I don't want, I'm not trying to be cheap, but I want a good paint, but I don't want the top of the line Eric Jackson paint, but I don't want like bottom of the fish barrel.
Right.
So
you only want to do it once.
Right. So that's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, I plan on painting the whole entire thing. We're going to drape plastic on the walls. We're going to lift the garage door up enough to put a couple fans to draw air out, keep the side door open so the air can come through. That's our plan. And Jonathan, he's been saying, Brian, I'm going to help you paint it. We'll help you paint it. So Jonathan may be coming out sometime in February, March, or April and help me paint this thing.
Nice.
So, and then if you can see behind me, that guy right there is Brandon, and he's like a son-in-law. We are going to do our very best to get this car prepped and ready for the next few weeks to make sure we can get to Firebird Fest.
There you go.
Yep. So it's going to be a team effort to get this thing all put back together. I'm confident it's driveline and drivetrain will get us there. We just need paint and body, and then we're going to go.
How far is it? How far is it from your house?
So from me to St. Louis is 2 days and probably 1,500 miles.
Yeah, we're probably about the same. Are you going to drive it or trailer it, Brian?
I'm going to drive it. And part of it is I'm going to stop in Oklahoma where my brother lived and let his daughter's wife see the car, have a day to drive it, and have fun with it. That's part of my goal while I go back to Firebird Fest.
That'd be cool.
If it wasn't, I wouldn't have it. Is exactly. So Brandon's telling me it is. Wait. 21 hours and 1,400 miles.
Oh,
St.
boy.
Louis from here. Thank you, sir.
With a slight detour.
With a slight detour. But I think and I trust it that it will make it. I do.
Yeah. Jeez.
And if I break down, that's what it makes for great YouTube videos.
Side of the road videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, St. Louis is 1,038 miles from here. So I guess that's not horrible.
So we're kind of like in the middle there.
Yeah. How far is it from Louis?
Louis, right? Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania. God only knows how far is it from me.
Now, Jonathan and I made it to the 2023 Firebird Fest.
I remember that.
Yep. So yeah, my goal is this year to get the bird to Firebird Fest 25, I should say.
I think I'd be deaf if I drove 1,000 miles in this thing. I wouldn't be able to hear nothing.
All right, let's get caught up here. So Bill says it would be quite a party if all you guys were there. I still think that if I can get the guys that put on Firebird Fest to do some kind of thing with all of us YouTubers, I mean, we're not stars, but we're helping each other. This is the whole we do this is to help each other. And
it's a community.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Bill says I get 50% off at every Sherwin-Williams colors. Let me know. Okay, Bill. I might call you up. Jimmy said, Lewis and Mike, what size welding wire do you guys use?
I use 030 for anything structural and 25 for sheet metal.
All right. If I tell you guys might not believe me. I use 030 for everything.
Yep, me too.
I'm just not good enough to do that.
Yeah. And then Wilder Duck 9 says, Brian, you're a little laggy. Yes. So I'm in my garage and my router is over there. And it is what it is, you know. Can't help it. It's internet.
So
Me too.
I was told, you mentioned Sherwin-Williams. I was told recently that the paints that Summit sells are Sherwin-Williams products.
It's true. I heard the same thing.
And I'll tell you what, I was super impressed with their products, and they're really affordable. I mean, the Summit paints, I'd do them every day. Unless you're trying to match a specific color for a specific car, you got to buy what's in their catalog, but it works good.
You guys remember House of Colors?
Yep.
Well, that was like top notch, you know, back in the day, right?
yeah.
Paint.
Yeah.
I heard they bought them out too.
Really?
Oh yeah. Though I think they didn't change the name because the name is catchy. You get what I'm saying? Is what people know.
Sure.
Yep.
They do some amazing stuff too.
My very first Porsche, my 74 911 Carrera Targa, was black House of Color.
Really?
You see?
Yeah.
My first 56 Chevy was International Red Dulux Single Stage DuPont ink because it was $30 a gallon.
Man, there you go. There you go.
International Red.
I love it. All right, guys. Anything else we can talk about tonight?
I don't know. We got any more questions?
Almost an hour mark. Any more questions, guys?
Um,
Wild pockets. No, we don't have big pockets. We're penny pinchers. Absolutely. Well, this week my goal is to get the roof and the hood and the trunk primered, jack up my 67 Bird, get the transmission out, and Brandon's going to help me replace the seals. And then once it's jacked up, we'll do the sides. So that by the end of this weekend, we should have a completely primered 67 Firebird.
Brian, I have a question for you. So my question to Brian is, I don't know if you guys could remember, but when I did my 68 Firebird, and I was here by myself doing that car, I painted it in parts. That means I took off the door, I took off the fender, the hood, and every time I painted something, and I use single stage. I forgot the name brand right now, but it's a good paint. You know, it was expensive, just a single stage. Jonathan uses the same. He uses the same name brand. I just forgot what was the name brand right now. Anyway, are you gonna paint it like that, or are you gonna paint it with the body fully assembled?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I want to leave the doors on, but I'm willing to take the fenders off and paint those separate and then put them on.
Okay.
And the primer you're using, Brian, the U-Pol, is that an epoxy, or are you using a what is that?
Yeah, it's an epoxy.
Depending how you mix it, it tells you the ratio. It does like 4 things.
I'm going to do 4 to 1.
That's for the build up. To build up. Yep.
Right. Yep. And then once I get that down, and of course we have work on the driver's side, and then we have work on the passenger side. We have to cut out and put it in metal. And both Louis and Jonathan have talked me through cutting and shaping that new metal that comes in. And I got all that, and you'll see that in a future video.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
it's don't get frustrated with new metal, people. You know, just thank God you have it.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
I look at it like you're building every panel from scratch, and that's just the starting point.
Yep.
If you think of it like that, it's a great idea.
This is our new one.
Yeah, I saw him on the video today.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, say hi. Say hi, everyone.
Is she the one that stole the roll lock?
Yes, she took it, and it took 2 days to find that. Yes, because this little monster right here. Look at you. Look at you on TV. You're live. Look,
I had a dog do that to me one time. I was working in a pit, putting an exhaust on, and I go up and I'm reaching for the exhaust clamps, and I can't find it. And I'm looking all over the garage. What did I do with the exhaust clamps? I found a box of them all chewed up in the backyard with the nuts and steel. And I'm like, you jerk.
Yeah.
You're trying to help, Dad, trying to help.
I'm like,
So,
seriously.
yeah. Go ahead,
you
Brian.
get the $25, thing that I needed. You couldn't pick one of the $5 cheap ones to take off and chew on. You had to take the
Right.
most expensive one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got good taste. Good taste.
Yeah, well, let's go with that.
She's a brand name dog, dude. That's the way it goes.
Let me tell you, when it comes to Maggie, Maggie's super special.
Yeah.
Super special.
Brian, I want to give you a thanks for the new hoodie with the
Yes.
hey guys, here's Louis, and also the first generation logo.
Very
It looks so nice. Yep.
Very cool.
And
So we'll be back next week. If you got more questions or things you think about a little later on, we'll be here.
let's see. Okay, so Wilder 9 says if you spray it all at once. I'd like to spray it all at once, but unfortunately, the way things, and if I may spray it all at once if we can make it work. But if not, then we're doing 2 stages. We'll do the sides one day and the top one day, and then move on.
Just
So,
make sure you scuff the overlap. If any place you have to re-overlap it, scuff it.
If you guys want any shirts like I have or Louis has, I'll have a link probably in the next couple of days. You can find it. You can go and buy t-shirts and hoodies and everything else you want from us. We'll take care of you guys.
Mike, one more question. You use a brand new wiring harness for your bird, right?
Yes, a painless.
Okay. Do they go to like the original colors format for the Cermatics?
I think they do. I was kind of, as much as I researched it, everything matched.
Okay.
For the color for color. Shades are a little different, obviously, from not being 70 years old.
Right.
But 50 years old. But yeah, I was very happy with the painless setup. I got to say, of course, I have an LS harness to boot, but integrating the two was not a very difficult job. So,
You know what I don't understand about the painless? They have a circuit breaker. I don't know if yours came with a circuit breaker for the engine bay side.
it did. I did not end up having to use it because of my LS harness.
Okay.
But
Me and Jonathan was talking about that. I mean, amps that they put that to work, like it's gonna pop after so many. I think it's too high. It's like, I mean, the car will be on fire before it reaches those many amps.
I think that circuit breaker was for the alternator circuit, wasn't it?
Now they have two. They have one protecting the alternator circuit, and they have one protecting the main circuit, the main harness that goes into the cockpit.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing the math on that. It don't click on me. I even reached out to them. They never answered me back.
I'll look it up. Like I said, I didn't end up having to use that one, but I will say that when I was done with the painless install, I have a whole box full of extra parts here that I didn't actually need because they send you so many different things for every available option, right?
Oh, that's cool.
So, but
Very cool. All right, guys. I think we've enjoyed 1 hour of Firebird Friday live. Had a good time. Thank you to Lou. Thank you to Mike. And thanks for your questions. We're going to do this again next Friday. So if you have questions, make sure to join us next Friday at 5:30 Arizona time. What time that is for you, I don't know. You got to figure that out on your own. I can't do everything.
figure it out.
We have New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Arizona. So we're coast to coast, basically.
Thanks for joining us.
Yep. All right, kids.
Take care.
Thank you so much. We will see you next Friday. Make sure to check out Mike at Lake and Lodge Garage, Louie at First Generation Garage, and of course me at Airhead Garage, which, whatever that is. And until next Friday, have a good one. Be safe, and we'll see you then.
Cool.
All right, kids. Oh, wait. Cowboy
Yep.
hat, baseball cap, and Louis, what's this you have on?
It's a skelly.
What is it called?
A skelly, a winter hat. Skelly. We call it
skull cap.
skelly. Yeah.
Skull cap.
All right. All right.
The Canadians call them toques.
Toots.
And it's what? 55 in Arizona. What's the temperature back there?
Oh, I think it's 10 degrees out here.
Yeah, it might be like 16 outside for me right now. Yeah.
Where's
All
my
right.
jacket? Where's my jacket? All right, kids.
We're at 56.
We're out
All
here.
right.
Have a good
Have a good night, guys.
All right. Good night.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Later.
Later.
Thanks, Brian, for putting this together, man.